A lot of deals are going to happen in Davos over the next couple of days. I bet you the Clarity Act finally gets hashed out there. This disagreement between the banking sector and the crypto companies, they're going to compromise here and they're going to get a deal that works for both sides. It's too big. It has to happen. But to me, the topic that really matters in Davos right now is RWAs. That is the growth for this global economy and for blockchain. That's going to be the big driver here. We're going to look at how big. We're going to listen from David Schwartz. Take a look at a clip there. Why he says we need programmability on the XRP ledger. And, spoiler alert, it's tokenization of real world assets. Let's get into it because, this is it. This is going to be mass adoption of crypto technology. 4 billion people currently. That's how many people do not have access to traditional brokerage accounts. They have no way to get just solid investments. They're not looking for moonshots. They just want to have S&P 500, BlackRock funds, tech stocks, really premium investment options, and they don't have that. As you onboard those people in totality, it's so much capital that's going to come screaming onto the blockchain. And you have to understand this. Payments, that was tough. They came, kicking and screaming. And just now we're starting to get traction there. RWAs are different. They are begging for this technology. Every single institution and bank, they can't wait to tokenize every asset, bring it on the blockchain. It's going to be a game changer. We see BlackRock. They're not just interested in crypto anymore. Bitcoin ETFs, that's been huge, but they're rebuilding the financial system on chain. The goal, tokenizing literally everything. 24/7, 365, autonomous markets. And the result is what we're going to see, the RWA gold rush here. And the question is, which blockchains are going to win that liquidity war? I put a few here, XRP, Ethereum, Solana. You let me know down below who you think the big players are. And it literally is a gold rush. If you remember what DeFi and smart contracts, what that did last run, you saw just on the promise of smart contracts, Cardano go from 2 cents to over $3. Understand how much money is going to come ripping on to blockchains when BlackRock goes fully live. We've seen what they've done with their BitO platform. That ain't nothing. When you see JP Morgan, all these big banks and then brokerages, when they go on the blockchain, the amount of capital that's going to come flooding in, it's going to make, the DeFi summer look like nothing, look like peanuts. This is not a test. Now, I did a Substack the other day, real world assets, tokenization across blockchain. I covered a few of the big ones here. It'll be linked down below. Check it out. If you don't like to read, I'm going to be rolling out a series on X about exactly this topic, breaking it down because it's so important to understand. Now, when we look at David Schwartz here, light programmability, I'm telling you, is going to make the XRP Ledger a global powerhouse. Listen to him right here. This is why we need it.
I think also there's some very specific use cases that can probably only be done through a little bit of a smart contract. So one example would be trustless bridging or trust minimized bridging. All of the great bridging solutions and interoperability solutions that we're seeing require just a little bit more flexibility than we can get from from smart transactors that don't have programmability. So I'm hoping that with just a little bit of programmability, we can just get a lot of bang for the buck. And I don't want to turn the XRP Ledger into another, Turing complete Ethereum clone. But I also don't want us to be cut out from functionality that we could have. And so I think we can get a lot of interesting additional use cases that have real world value and still preserve things like, fast transactions, low and predictable transaction fees, and the security and reliability.
And so this is the deal here. You can let Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, if you will, SWI, those chains do a lot of the heavy lifting. But what's going to happen here when you have trustless bridging here, smart contracts in the XRP Ledger, that's what it's about, being a trustless bridge, turning the XRP Ledger into this global trading hub. So you have assets you're bringing on from JP Morgan systems, BlackRock systems, Ethereum. It's going to come ripping onto the XRP Ledger with its DEX, and it's built from day one for this purpose to be able to trade assets on this blockchain with this consensus mechanism. That's going to be the game changer, and you're going to see a heck of a lot of real world assets come ripping onto this chain and really be this hub between traditional finance and other blockchains, and it's just going to be a ton of transactions. This is what they're building towards, and having just enough programmability for bridging, that's going to be the game changers we go forward. Now, we're looking at right now spot XRP ETFs. They've been silent. Of course, the price has been going down, but it's one of really the strongest institutional adoption stories in this space. over 50 days of trading, and we've had zero outflows. Will be 1.37 billion in inflows, and again, a remarkable streak of zero outflow days. Now, the day will come. There will be a day where we have outflows from XRP ETFs. You best believe it. But to date, not having that yet in this environment, man, that's been crazy. We've seen outflows come out of Bitcoin, out of Ethereum, but not the XRP ETF. This level of consistent buy-side demand without redemptions is rare. And again, you can go on X and look at this chart I made exactly showing this. It really has been remarkable. And you can imagine what this would look like if the market was in a bullish spot right here, where crypto was going to new all-time highs, and you stack this on top of it, pulling XRP off the open market. That's going to be a game changer, you best believe. This post here from Crypto Sensi saying Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent hints President Trump could name the next Fed chair as early as next week. Sources say this is going to be a pro-crypto pick. Of course, everyone in the administration is pro-crypto. You best believe that the next Fed chair will be as well. But I think what this will do, as long as it's a good pick, and I think it will be one, it's going to bring a lot of calm to the market where people are worried. Who's it going to be? Is this going to be a smooth transition? When that rolls out, I think it'll be great for markets. And further, with Coinbase, I don't mind that they're pushing back. And I don't mind that they're trying to get a better deal for crypto, but you can't blow this up. This is going to be the administration to make a deal with. The president has a ton of value in crypto. Everyone in this administration is pro-crypto. After the midterms, the mix could be quite different, and that's going to be a much different negotiation at that time. You got to get it done now. Yeah, drag your feet a little bit, get a better deal, but close this sucker up quick, because if you think after the midterms you're going to get a better deal, or after the next presidential election you think you're going to get a better setup than this, I think you're going to be really, really upset with yourself. Now is the time. Strike while the iron is hot. You have to get this done because it ain't going to get better. It's not going to get better, I can tell you that. Make it happen and make it happen now. On X, I put up this article. If you haven't seen it, it's pinned to my profile, XRP, the move we must make. And we have this quote here from David Schwartz, where he says, look, you don't have to listen to it, but he says, XRP, we need a whole ecosystem here. Ripple can't do everything. So this is about why it's important to have third-party builders and to onboard people and to solve big problems and small problems. And it's quite a lot of stuff. I have a lot of videos, so you don't have to read a ton of stuff. I think you'll find it interesting. Check it out. Further, now's the time. The Zhao DAO ripping towards 1,000 members so we can start proposals. Link down below with your Bifrost or your Salmon wallet. You can sign up. It's $10 for a lifetime membership and, really help make this blockchain the symbol for decentralization where everyone participates, from Ripple, third-party developers, educators, and us, the regular people. This is how we have a voice in this blockchain, and it's important. The investors are important. The builders are important. It's the full picture here. Zhao DAO, take a look at the article. If you haven't yet, sign up, become a member, and you can share in future profits of the DAO. It's going to make investments, of course. And also, again, you have your vote, and all your XRP stays in self-custody, and that's what matters. Link down below and in the pinned comment. Go ahead and join today. Now, we see this 70 to 80% chance that the trade war is avoided. So we have this big problem right now over Greenland. The United States says we need it. Denmark saying it ain't for sale. And the market right now is looking at this as, yes, there's risk. It's not 100% that something gets done, but more likely than not that some deal gets done here with Greenland, whatever that may be. And if that happens, if this Greenland stuff is settled, whether it is U.S. buys it, whether it is, maybe more security deals, we can move more bases on there, whatever it is, whatever that solution is, you're going to see crypto, tech, and AI absolutely rip here. Now, as people start to hedge a bit, because again, 20, 30% chance it doesn't happen and things go awry, and we see, a massive trade war break out because of this, gold, silver, Swiss franc. Right now, that's where people are fleeing to as they start pulling some money off the table to safety. Those are your hedges right now. They're not going to treasuries at this point in time. That is not the safe haven asset. It's gold, silver, and Swiss franc. But if this gets done, look for a lot of that money to flow into crypto, tech, and AI. It's going to absolutely rip from here. Let's hope it gets done. A great video here, Generation Infinity. my buddy here, King Solomon. I don't know if we're supposed to call him that when he's doing Generation Infinity stuff, but one of my favorite people in this space. If you're interested in FLR and scaling towards actual real world adoption, this video is going to tell you that time for testing is over. This is a game changer. Check out his video. I commented on it here, but I'll go over to his page, Generation Infinity. Really, really, really good interview there. I think you'll enjoy it. And lastly, they put up this. This is research lead at Ripple, this lady. And she's talking about, she didn't use these words, but it's really privacy versus secrecy. You know, we need to obscure some parts of our transactions, of course. And so she's talking about what's so important is programmable privacy, that only the necessary info is disclosed to relevant parties. So it could be you're using someone's system and you have to be at least 18 years old. It might not say exactly who you are, but programmable privacy will say, I'm at least 18, I can use this system, or I'm a US citizen, or whatever it may be. I have been KYC'd, you don't need to know who I am, but I'm good to use your system. Things like this. Give them only what is necessary and no more than that. And this is kind of how financial systems should work today. They don't always work like that, but this is how blockchain, a lot of systems in the future are going to work. We need this. They're working on those solutions. Privacy is huge. Who gets it right is going to onboard a lot of people because, you know, banks, financial institutions, they can't legally and they just ain't going to broadcast everything they're doing. You have to have these privacy solutions as we start to really onboard real players to these blockchain systems. Let me know what you think down below. Make sure you sign up for the ZaoDao, link in the description and the pinned comment, $10 lifetime membership. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.